The dystopian rise of video game censorship. Call of Duty players will soon be subjected to AI driven speech surveillance. Now, whenever you think about hate speech in video games, Call of Duty is the very first thing that you think of. We've all been there, we've all done it. But, you know, sometimes in a video game, you just die for an absolute nonsense reason. You know, the whole, that guy didn't even have direct line of sight to me, how did he get me? And then you watch the kill cam, and it turns out the guy was hacking. You know, you're playing a video game, of course you're going to have a gamer moment, right? There's a whole skit in there. I kind of want to copy the Boondocks thing, except I'm going to call it. he went into the corner shop, run by an Indian gentleman. The Indian gentleman told him he would not serve him alcohol. Marty was about to have a gamer moment. Yeah. Online censorship is. I probably should do that. Online censorship is now coming for gamers. I mean, not now. It's been coming for a very, very long time. No one remembers Gamergate. Video game publisher Activision has announced that it will introduce an invasive new system of online censorship to its hugely popular Call of Duty franchise. In a blog post last month, Activision set out the details of its new partnership with the artificial intelligence company, Modulate. Their aim is to deliver real-time voice chat moderation at scale in online gaming matches. Apparently, this is needed to stamp out the allegedly rampant menace of toxic behaviour among gamers. Now, of course, like I said, whenever governments or institutions or the cathedral, just call it what it is, wants to implement some nice, new, lovely dystopian surveillance stuff, they always pick a really good, the people saying the N-word on Call of Duty. They're bad, naughty people. You don't like them. You don't like racists, do you? And people go, oh my god, no, I don't like racists. Yeah, this is great. Yeah, it's a trial. Because you think this is only going to be rolled out in Call of Duty. You really think that? No, this is the training ground. This is where they collect the data. This is the testing phase. But anyway, I'll save it for the end. Of course, online gaming is not all sweetness and light. No, it's definitely not. Call of Duty titles allow gamers to shoot and kill each other in online battlefields. Much of its success can be attributed to its online matchmaking system, which allows players to easily communicate with each other both within and between matches. And yes, part of the fun of this is that gamers often insult and trash talk each other. It's like the best part. It's like, I play Rust, which arguably could be more toxic than Call of Duty. Rust is extremely toxic, but I love it. Yeah. I watch so much Stimpy. One of my YouTube dreams is to be able to play Rust with Stimpy and Mimeo. I was about to say I'll never admit that publicly, but I just did. Rust is amazing. It makes people so angry. It's great. While it is true that some players can be vile and bigoted at times, this kind of behaviour is normally met with insults in kind, which is the correct response. If you're playing a video game, if someone insults you, you insult them back. It's not because you genuinely hate each other or anything like that. You're just both men, you've got a lot going on in your lives, and this video game time is for you to unwind, let your hair down and have a little woosah moment. Like, have you ever been in an empty room and you just shout the N-word at the top of your lungs, and after it you just feel, and then you can get on with your day? No, is that just me? Anyway, the worst verbal bruisings tend to be reserved for those idiots who deserve them. In an attempt to get rid of the most abusive players, Activision is taking some incredibly draconian steps that will limit free speech of all Call of Duty fans. Modulate proactive voice moderation tool ToxMod will scan and supposedly identify an increasingly broad and endlessly vague spectrum of toxic speech. So-called hate speech, discriminatory language, and harassment are all listed as forbidden. For instance, it will not only report what words players use to Activision, but also the tone and intent behind their words. How is an AI going to recognise intent? I mean, Jesus Christ, we had a few hundred employees of the Scottish court system that couldn't fucking do that. Right, like, how's it meant to gather your intent? But everyone's like, oh yeah, this is these toxic gamers. I'm a girl, and I went to play Call of Duty. And, well, that's where you went wrong, right? That's where you went wrong. Don't go on it with, like, don't have like a username like little cutesy Becky Woo XOXO and expect people to be nice to you in a video game, right? That was your first mistake. I wouldn't go into a Call of Duty match, Call of Duty lobby with a girl's username, just the same as I wouldn't wear a Celtic top to Brighton. Right? I wouldn't do it. Right? So that's on you. It was the way you were dressed. You were asking for it. Oh, I still feel so sick. Uh, the tool is set to go online next month. For now, the AI itself will not have the power to ban players from Call of Duty games. Those decisions will still be taken by human moderators. But a system that makes censorship more efficient by flagging up supposedly toxic speech in real time is still a dystopian prospect. Attempts to curb toxicity in gaming are nothing new. Players have long been able to manually report abuse from other players to moderators. But there has been a noticeable escalation of censorship over the past decade or so. Earlier this year, Ubisoft Publishing, best known for the Far Cry franchise, announced a partnership with Northumbria Police in the UK that would unite specialist police officers with moderators to tackle toxic gaming culture. And in 2021, Intel was widely ridiculed when it introduced Bleep, a software that allows gamers to filter out so-called hate speech according to their propensity to be offended. Bleep features a sliding scale that lets players choose how many categories of toxic speech they're open to hearing, including none, some, most, or all. I mean, I would love that to propensity. What hate speech do you want to hear? Oh, all of it. Everywhere. All the time. Right now. I have this nice little mixtape that I put on that helps me sleep. Part of it is that time that Mel Gibson got pulled over. it's like my favourite part. Instead of counting sheep, I listened to Mel Gibson saying, "Whoa, back up, sugar tits." Just such a relaxing sleep. Where was I again? Activision's new AI censorship tool is on an altogether larger scale than these initiatives. Millions of Call of Duty players will soon have their speech monitored when the system goes online. This mass surveillance and mass censorship this is going to happen a lot throughout the videos for this week, so deal with it. It's bound to rob gaming of the spontaneity and escapism that makes it worthwhile. Gamers need to stand up to this attack on their freedoms. Now, one thing as well is you're going to get the usual suspects, all the freedom bothers, people. I was supposed to clutch, and then I didn't clutch. I died to my own. I flashbanged myself, and then a boy called me gay. Mute him. Just mute them. That's what I do to people that annoy me in games. I've never muted anyone. See, as soon as I hear someone get salty and start going like that, you bitch, fucking hiding up there and sniping. That's when I'm like, oh, here we go, and I'm feeling like I'll annoy that person. That person will be my project for that entire match. I'll love that shit. I'll live for that, right? But I mute people. See, when you get those dickheads that are just blasting music constantly down the microphone, or the guy into their fucking microphones, like those guys, or you hear the crying baby in the background and all that, I mute those guys because that's genuinely annoying. But when I get someone getting raging and going off their head, I love it. I think it's absolutely amazing. I'm going to raid his base and Rust. But yeah, that's all fun and that's all good, right? But just mute the people if they bother you. But they're trying to say, oh, this is for the video games, this is to make... No, it's not. This is a trial phase for something else. Because see if hate speech can be identified by AI in video games, which do contain... Let's be very honest with each other. A lot of people who use hate speech and those kinds of words, then once they collect enough data and they've managed to establish that they have a good working model with a very high accuracy rate, then it's going to get rolled out to other stuff. It's going to get rolled out to WhatsApp, Discord, going to get rolled out to phone calls, going to get rolled out to all that stuff. Because one thing that the government has a lot of trouble with is there aren't enough people to monitor all the other people. So they can get AI to do it for them. Instead of having a million guys working in a call center, you can just have one very powerful AI that flags high likelihood cases to a monitoring agent. That's what this is for. This is to keep video games safe. No, it's not. It's a testing ground for a project that we are definitely going to see in the future.